All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Monthly news, Linux Mint. Is this the end of Linux Mint as we know it? So this is from the Linux Mint blog as of April 16th, 2026. I know it says March 2026 up here, but the date says April 16th, 2026. So Clement says, before we start with the news, I'd like to apologize for posting so late. Here's the release strategy of Linux Mint. In February, I mentioned we were at a crossroads and that it was the right time to consider important changes. The following decisions were made, and listen closely, these are really big decisions for Linux Mint. Linux Mint will adopt a longer development cycle. That might mean it's going away from Ubuntu. The next release is planned for Christmas 2026. Linux Mint will use the same installer as LMDE. That means Linux Mint is going to go away from its Ubuntu installer and use the Debian edition installer. Are we looking at like a Ubuntu Mint and Debian possible merge? Is Mint gonna just go with Debian possibly in the future and kind of leave Ubuntu behind? We'll see. So what hasn't been decided yet is the release strategy itself, the length of the cycle, whether minor releases are frozen or backported / semi-rolling, and whether we will introduce alpha releases. Our mission is simple: fix bugs and improve the desktop. We look at our previous release and set the bar higher. The Linux landscape is evolving rapidly, however, we often need to adapt to new challenges. We need a release strategy which gives us the flexibility to adapt and the empowerment to be ambitious in our development. I really like that, to be ambitious in our development, because Linux Mint is, I want to say, kind of boring right now, and it would be nice to see things shook up a little bit in the Linux Mint community. I'd love to see like a rolling release Linux Mint one day with KDE Plasma, but that's just a dream of mine because I love KDE Plasma and I love rolling releases because you get all the newest stuff right away. With Mint, you have to wait a while. Even with the Debian edition, it's not necessarily cutting edge or cutting edge at all. So let's take a look. Mint 23 Alpha. The release strategy will define the versioning and naming scheme. For now, we don't know what the next release will be called and what version it will be, yet we had to start working on it. As a temporary measure, we decided to call the next release Alpha and to give it version 23. Alpha is appropriately named since it's unlikely to keep that name all the way to beta. Anyway, jokes aside, blah, blah, blah. So it currently is going to ship with Ubuntu 26.04 LTS as the package base. It's going to have the new Linux kernel 7.0, Cinnamon 6.7, including the new Wayland screensaver. Hopefully it works. CJS 140 and the live installer, which will be ported from LMDE to replace the Ubiquity installer. That's huge. Moving away from the Ubiquity installer. Wayland support and unified installer shared between Mint and LMDE are significant milestones for our project. We're working mostly on the base and the installation at the moment. The installer is receiving a lot of attention. We'll focus on desktops, toolkits, and applications next. We're already starting to feel the benefits of the longer cycle, blah, blah, blah. It'd be great if Linux Mint had an actual screensaver that worked. I don't even know, do people still even use screensavers? Let me know in the comments below. Do you use a screensaver? And if so, what is your screensaver? And what distro are you running with a screensaver on it? Yeah, so if you'd like to know more about Linux Mint, you can always follow blog.linuxmint.com. This will have the news as it comes out. I know a lot of you guys out there like Linux Mint. It's a great solid distro. I have since moved on to CachyOS, but that is just my own prerogative. Mint is a great distro for beginners, and it runs pretty good. It's pretty stable. Haven't had any problems with it, except it wasn't doing what I needed it to do specifically for my needs. That's why I switched to CachyOS. Let me know in the comments, do you guys like Linux Mint? What do you guys use out there? What's your favorite distro? Would you guys ever switch from your favorite distro to another one? And which one would you switch to? All right, thanks for joining me, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.